we have a new low pressure area here just towards the south of Guam and east of the Philippines. And I do think this is going to be yet our next named storm system that could impact the Philippines as we go ahead later on this week, probably into next week. And I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, always trying my best to give you the latest information. No hype, although I can see how you could take it right off of the start there. But if you only listen to the start, you would think it's hype. So we're going to go through, I'm going to explain why I'm saying what I'm saying and what we're looking at well out here towards the east. And first and foremost, let's zoom in on this area of convection. It is an area in a spot that is prone for tropical cyclone development. Sea surface temperatures out here are well over the 30-degree mark. It's mainly indicating that it's rather warm. It does have a lot of energy for that development. We got some decent outflow aloft, and there's not really any troughs dipping down that are going to kind of shear this out. So a high pressure ridge towards the north is going to allow us to move through an area favorable for development. And you can even see here from Bagasa to tropical threat map, they do have it increasing intensity out here in the Philippine Sea, likely just towards the north of Yap and Palau, where it could become a named storm system. But then we go over towards the Google DeepMind. So this is that new AI model I've been talking about recently, and it's absolutely a fantastic model. I mean, I'm telling you, there's some things about AI I'm like, but if used in this sense, it really has been picking up on these long-range storms, nailing short-range storms better than the numerical guidance, aka the GFS or the ECMWF. And you can see here, so we have, well, off here towards the north, of course, we're continuing to watch this one. That's Nari, and that one's passing over the Izu Islands today. Hachijima, for example, right after they were hit pretty hard by the last one. This is nothing like that. But then we look down towards the south, though, and here you go. You can see, let me move up the overall picture here. There we go. So you can see the time frame on the bottom right of the screen here. So this would be Wednesday the 15th. You can see right there. Now let's watch this go through the 16th, heading into the 17th. And those areas in yellow indicating from the Google DeepMind model of a actually tropical storm, purple even indicating a potential typhoon somewhere here in central Luzon. And this would be by Saturday the 18th. Now we can compare that up with the ECMWF ensemble. It does show a much wider spread. So this is what I'm talking about. You know, the ensemble with the ECMWF kind of agrees with the Google DeepMind, but it's much more clustered and much more kind of confident on that outlook. For example, we can flip over to the GFS guidance, and that's what you're showing right here. This is by Friday the 17th. And the GFS kind of shows actually a pretty decent typhoon just towards the northeast of Luzon, stalling out as we get a little bit of a cold surge pulling in from the north and causing it to kind of kick off towards Taiwan, while the ECMWF kind of shows something very similar but weaker and further towards the south. It's really just kind of the cluster of those ensembles averaged together and kind of showing this little weak mess. The key thing I want you to take away, though, is that the GFS, the ECMWF, and the Google DeepMind all do agree that something is going to form. They all just disagree on the extent of that. This is, for example, the SpaghettiOs by Saturday for the ECMWF and the GFS. Both have that cluster there. Kind of interesting here with the GFS, there is that big split, some of it taking a trough towards north, some towards the west. But the DeepMind, if we go back to that, shows kind of this more southerly trend along the southern periphery of that subtropical ridge that I mentioned earlier. Now, I know that's a lot to take in, but I break all of this down for you so you can see what I'm looking at. Because first and foremost, whenever you look at a tropical system, you always want to look at the satellite picture first, right? So you got our storm here. You, of course, got Nari off towards the north. And then you have this subtropical ridge right in here. So this area, if it stays further towards the south, it would not get picked up by that trough and that subtropical ridge. If it goes further towards the north, you might see that bend towards the north. But what I can tell you is that I think the DeepMind's onto something. And I know it sounds like I'm wish casting towards the Philippines. I'm not, okay? But I think the DeepMind's onto something because it has been, the numerical models have been really biased on a north trend. They a lot of times, and we see it in the last few storms, they want to turn these storms north, or they want to go further north than what the storms actually do. The DeepMind's been picking up on this southerly trend. So right now we're seeing the ECMWF and the GFS really trying to make this hook towards the north. And I just don't see that happening. based on just historical analysis here that we've been seeing recently. So, yeah, I would say maybe by next week we're going to have a name storm near the Philippines. I guess that's what I'm getting from it. And I would lean more on what that deep mine model has been kind of putting out on this instead of what the GFS is indicating with that northerly trend. The ECMWF always has been kind of the model I've leaned on numerically. So, yeah, that's even indicating that coming up like this and kind of running along the southern periphery of that subtropical ridge just back here towards the north. In either case, there's probably going to be a storm somewhere out here. Some pretty big waves still actually from Nari as that even pulls off towards the north and east, which, by the way, quickly on Nari, I just quickly mentioned it, but I do want to show you where it is right now. It's moving off towards the east. Still considered a typhoon, by the way, which, yeah, it's got a pretty decent look on it right now. Let's get rid of this and let's go. So, yeah, but it is starting to form up some fronts. You can see this little tail. That's a little bit of a front just kicking off towards the Ogasawara Islands. And then it's heading off towards the northeast. Going to continue to add with Honglong's madness of what it's doing to the jet stream and just all the big waves it's making that's cascading over towards the United States. But as far as impacts in East Asia, yeah, actually, I have a short on this channel about that, what I just mentioned there. If you're like, what did he just say? Hong's impacting the weather in the United States, and so is Nari. Yes, actually. So check out the short. I just put it out last week describing how these storms bend the jet stream. If you're into, more weather education, you can check it out. All right, so let's take a look at our flyover for the Philippines, at least for Tuesday. And, it's your kind of run-of-the-mill afternoon showers out there. Nothing too crazy, but definitely we're keeping an eye in the sky considering all the earthquakes we've been getting. So there's a lot of loose soil, which can result in mudslides combined with all just the already saturated ground from all the typhoons we've been getting recently. I really feel for everybody out here. It's been one storm after another. Yeah. Philippines, there is one point of pride I always respect. It's the resilience to natural disasters. Because goodness gracious, the average person globally in the United States I do know of would have just broke by now with the multiple, or there would be so many conspiracy theories, and you do have them too in the Philippines. But I think if it was in the United States, the conspiracy theories would be off the wall. They would be in a different realm of just sensible. The ones I've been seeing are like internet connected fault lines, and there's a caldera off the East Coast that's been extinct for a long time. Somebody's saying it's trying to wake back up, and these are all believable conspiracy theories if you don't know any better. But I think if it would be more about aliens and HARP or something. I don't know. Those ones drive me nuts when they're nowhere even remotely close to scientific fact. I can respect a good conspiracy theory if it has some science backing it, where you go, okay, I can see what you see. Yeah. Anyways, hey, on my rant. I love my rants at the end of these videos are the one times I get to vent. And I know if you watch the end of the video, you're probably not a casual viewer. You're one of the people that actually come here daily to watch these updates and get the latest information. And then you know what to expect at the end. Anyways, all right. If you have any questions or anything like that, please just let me know. That's what I'm here for. Big shout out to our Patreon members. You see we cycled through their names there just a moment ago. I got a few new ones recently, and I got to say thank you guys. Plus, one of our sponsors, Frontrunner Financial. But if you do want to sponsor, if you do like what we do here in these videos, check out our Patreon, because there's a tier there for sponsorships. And I'll put you on the screen, give you guys a shout out. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Number one thing, of course, is stay safe out there, okay, friends?